It is my distinct honor to introduce a man whose vision and dedication have profoundly shaped both the law enforcement and Special Olympic communities. In 1981, as the chief of police in Wichita, Kansas, he had a simple yet transformative idea that would ignite a global movement. What began as a small run with just a handful of officers has grown into the Law Enforcement Torch Run, a worldwide initiative engaging nearly 100,000 law enforcement personnel across 27 countries and raising over $1 billion in support for Special Olympic athletes around the globe. Yeah. Through his collaboration with the International Association of Chiefs of Police and his close partnership with Sergeant and Eunice Kennedy Shriver, he helped build the enduring alliance between LER and Special Olympics that we celebrate today. His vision, leadership, and unwavering commitment have touched the lives of countless athletes and their families. Please join me in welcoming the Chairman Emeritus of the Law Enforcement Torch Run, International Executive Council, Chief Richard LaMunyon.
Well, thank you. It's certainly an honor and a privilege to be here, and I thank John and everyone else during the week for your kind words, because this is a happening that is because of you and the thousands of other officers that's come before you. I want to thank each one of you individually for being here, for taking the time to come and see. And not only that, but many of you are leaders and teaching others. As I looked around the council the other day, I saw the way it had turned over in the years and the way it's supposed to work. And as you work your way through whatever country, whatever state, whatever province you're from, think about the leadership of the Law Enforcement Torch Run, the Executive Council. And I want to thank them for their hard work, the Planning Commission, or the Planning Committee, and everyone that was responsible for setting up this particular conference and the ones that are yet to come. So I want to thank also LETR Texas. I want to thank Special Olympics Texas. I want to thank the SOI for your support, your partnership in making this all true. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't thank my high school sweetheart of 63 years, the First Lady of the Torch Run, my wife Sharon. And because of other duties assigned today, I was unable to witness the torch run, but she represented us, and I understand she did well at the Alamo. She was looking for John Wayne, but he didn't show. But other than that, it was a good day, so thank you for that. And of course, the big thank you goes to our Texas and other Special Olympic athletes here tonight. And I know you've already stood up once, but stand up again because you deserve another round of applause. And I thank you, each and every one, because you represent millions of Special Olympic athletes around the world. You know, I've learned and experienced over the years that our Special Olympic athletes are like a reflective magnet. They tell us that they grow their strength from us. If so, what they do is they process it, magnify it, and send it back to us 10 times stronger than when we gave it to them. It is their strength that we in law enforcement are able to thrive and help them, because it's all about the Special Olympic athletes. I've heard the torch run referred to as many things: unprecedented, tremendous, unparalleled, unmatched, exceptional, overwhelming. And that's true. But think back. It was from a simple vision, a thought. From that little vision and thought, you are now the largest grassroots fundraiser in the history of Special Olympics. Some say, thank you. And those of you that are here that have been with me a long time, some will say there have been challenges and there have been obstacles, but not really. If you think and look at it from a point of perception, we have never had obstacles, we've never had challenges, we've only had opportunities to do better. And that's the reason that we have come together and organized this the way it is. Law enforcement is the only entity in the world on this earth that could have made the LETR movement what it is today. Think about it. When you think of all the elements, all the components of our society, and try to bring those together for a common cause of good, how do you do it? Think about every barrier that we as flawed human beings put up, whether it be politics, race, religion, economics, language, culture, doesn't matter. This is our responsibility as law enforcement. We have to protect and serve every element of our society that we had just talked about. And our athletes come from every sector of the society that I just described. So when you bring us together and we hold hands with one another in unison for a common goal of good, we all win and the world wins. Together as partners, we are a shining light for the world to see and to follow. I get the credit for being the founder. I'm humbled, I'm honored, but in reality, it was my officers' ideas. You've all heard the story. The idea that I'm saying to you is that you sitting here today and those that you represent, you never know what a vision or a thought that you might have as a good deed and where that may lead. The law enforcement torch run, which started so humbly in Wichita, Kansas in 1981, with 5 officers running from a city hall to a high school. It was insignificant, right? Humble in the birth, but in reality it was not. Because what we didn't know at the time, that day in the middle of Kansas, a small wind began to blow. And now with tens of thousands of officers around the world, you've raised over $1 billion, and it's growing every year. And in addition, and I've told you this before, you all asked me, several of you, did you ever know about this, Chief? Did you think it would get this big? I said, of course, I'm the chief, I know these things. Obviously, this is completely overwhelming, but I can tell you, I knew the day that that little girl gave me a hug, and I looked around and I saw the families, and I saw the officers, and I saw the connection. I said to myself, I don't know that much about Special Olympics, but this is something we can get behind. And I didn't order my officers to do it. We put a group together, and they saw the light also. And that's the same light that lit in your hearts that brought you here today. The LETR is a bridge of good. It's a bridge of inclusion. It's a bridge of love. It's a bridge that can span any bias, any prejudice, and stand up to any adversary in the world. It's a bridge of communications for building relationships, sharing compassion, and providing understanding. It's a bridge of respect, of reflection for breaking down social and political barriers, a bridge built on kindness, love, grace, compassion, respect, all working in unity. And it doesn't matter where we're at or what we're doing, it's a partnership. It's a partnership that Eunice Kennedy Shriver recognized. Sergeant Shriver, who was one of our biggest cheerleaders in the beginning, who helped us mold this movement together. And now Tim Shriver, who's one of our strongest advocates for the law enforcement torch run, is at the helm of Special Olympics. It's also about the International Association of Chiefs of Police. When I went to Joe Casey, who was the chief in Nashville, Tennessee, I said, Joe, I've got this idea and I want the ICP to consider getting behind it. He looked at it. He was working his ranks up, or his way up the ranks towards the president. He looked at it. He got on board. The Law Enforcement Executive Council, which came about because of the need, the growth that we had. You had to have a leadership group put together with law enforcement, Special Olympics staff, and our athletes. It's because of the torch run. It's more than a project, it's a happening. It's an irresistible force that cannot be stopped and will not be stopped, and it's going to be in your hands to make sure that it's better as we unfold some more. It captured the hearts of my officers in Wichita, and that's why it captures the hearts of you here today, the officers you represent, and the thousands of officers before you, and the thousands of officers that will come after you. The flame of the law enforcement torch run movement that began as a flicker of hope in Wichita in 1981 has now become the roaring flame of encouragement, of stability, and support for Special Olympics around the world. We are the torch run, as I said, as you were running today. We are the guardians of the flame. And as these next 40 years unfold, it's for you to create your own small wind in your community, in your state, in your country, and for our world. These are our athletes, and they're our ambassadors, and we share them with the world, and think about what you can do. Whether you're a police officer, a sheriff's deputy, a constable, a corrections officer, your military, the state, national, all working together for one common goal. So who would have thought that 43 years ago, when that torch ran from that city hall to that high school in Wichita, the heat and the light from that first torch is still felt today here in Texas and around the world. Don't try to explain it. Just feel the spark and go and do it. And remember, the law enforcement torch run is more than just a fundraiser. It transforms communities by inspiring people to open their minds and their hearts. It leads the way to accept and include people with intellectual disabilities. It celebrates the difference among all people, and it recognizes and respects the similarities we all share. You are the guardians of the flame. The future of the Law Enforcement Torch Run is in your hands. So go forth and prosper. Thank you, and may God bless you and keep you safe in your duties until we meet again. Thank you. Thank you.